Ferris wheel suddenly malfunctioned. Two kids in the gondola grabbed onto the metal bar just in time, temporarily preventing themselves from falling from 100 meters up. Seeing this, a tourist rushed to the rescue without hesitation. But his method of jumping on top of the gondolas was extremely dangerous. Plus, these gondolas were still operating normally. One wrong move and he'd fall. Sure enough, after crossing just a few gondolas, he missed his step due to nerves. Fortunately, with help from other tourists, he struggled back onto the top of the gondola. Next, he switched to a less physically demanding method and climbed directly onto the Ferris wheel's support arm. But the centrifugal force from the high-speed rotation almost threw him off. Fortunately, Jimmy's willpower was strong enough. Finally, as the tourist watched anxiously, he successfully reached the center axle. Then he picked up a bundle of rope from the metal frame. Next, he climbed onto a support arm and slid down the steel framework to the top of the gondola adjacent to the malfunctioning one. At this point, the staff finally shut down the Ferris wheel, which made Jimmy's rescue operation much smoother. After reaching the top above the kids, he tied the rope to the steel frame. Then, gripping the rope tightly, he slid down to the outside of the gondola. He thought he could successfully rescue the two kids this way. Unexpectedly, just as he lifted the girl onto his back, the chain above broke again. The impact from the gondola's drop caused Jimmy to lose his balance. He swung his body with all his strength and barely managed to get his hand back into the gondola. But the boy was terrified by what just happened and refused to cooperate with Jimmy. Finally, after more than 10 minutes of Jimmy's encouragement, the boy slowly extended his left hand. Then with a jump, he lunged toward Jimmy. But the momentum was too great, and Jimmy almost didn't catch him. Jimmy quickly had the boy hold onto his body. Then, carrying both kids, he slid down the rope rapidly. But just then, the last cable above also broke. The entire gondola instantly plummeted at high speed. Jimmy didn't dare delay, and could only continue sliding down. Finally, he managed to reach the ground before the gondola crashed down. But as the hero who saved lives in the citizens' eyes, he was seized by the amusement park security the next second. Turns out, Jimmy was a police officer. He suspected the amusement park owner was connected to a counterfeit money case, which was why he'd broken into the amusement park warehouse earlier to investigate. Unfortunately, he was caught on surveillance, and the owner treated him as a thief instead. Eventually, the police chief intervened, and the amusement park owner agreed to release Jimmy. However, this trip wasn't without gain for Jimmy. He had taken a scrap of waste paper from the warehouse. After magnifying and examining it, he discovered the numbers on it were identical to the serial numbers on the counterfeit bills. So, to collect evidence, he disguised himself in an okie-dokie elephant costume and infiltrated the amusement park again. When no one was paying attention, he quickly removed the headpiece. Then he climbed into the ventilation duct. He had planned to crawl through the ventilation system to the warehouse, but unexpectedly got lost inside. Instead, he accidentally ended up at an abandoned animal park. But if he retraced his steps, he'd definitely be discovered. So he climbed up a ladder to get up top, then crossed this iron bridge, hoping to find a new exit. Unexpectedly, right next to the animal park was their crime site. A group of security guards was mass printing counterfeit bills, but Jimmy didn't know that the cunning head of security had already spotted him through a mirror.